Deep in the dark recesses of the ocean, where the sun's rays are only a memory, lurks a creature with an interesting talent. It's a fish with flash, a beast with a beacon, and a predator with a peculiar penchant for pearlescence. While most of its neighbors blend seamlessly into the ink-black backdrop, this one lights up the scene, though not in a way you'd expect. The Stoplight Loosejaw is a little dangerous, a little dazzling, but unmistakably unique here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And a very, very special thank you to our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on. If you would like to donate, just visit patreon.com/ldtaxonomy or click on donate on our website.
And today we're talking about another disgusting deep sea creature, but more on that later.
Yeah, I'm kind of on a roll. I'm on a streak. I did a deep dive, for lack of a better phrase, and realized what I already knew. There's a lot of crazy cool stuff down there, but also the problem is it's hard to study the stuff down there, so it's difficult to find creatures that are both cool and also we know enough about to make an episode. But, yeah.
Well, what are we talking about? We're talking about the northern stoplight loosejaw, which is interesting that you chose that name when it's also called. Do you want to say what it's also called?
You can go ahead and say what it's also called.
The black dragonfish.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Stoplight loosejaw is about as on the nose of a description of a name for this fish as it could possibly be. It's like if aliens saw a black dragonfish and went back and described it. Have you ever read those comics, those like Strange Planet comics?
No.
Where it's like this is the furry purr machine and it's a cat or something like that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they see a black dragonfish and they would be like, this is the Stoplight Loosejaw.
Huh.
For reasons that will become incredibly apparent if you just look at it. But it's also, so it is called the black dragonfish. We're going to call it here the deep sea dangerfish, blades of glory, and better off red. But why don't you give us a science? Why don't you taxonomize this for us, Captain?
Okay. It's in the kingdom you know, love, and are in the kingdom Animalia. You're essentially the same thing as this fish.
We're both made up of atoms. That's true.
So if atoms is your essence,
you're a fish.
Then essentially the same thing.
You're also a rock.
Phylum Chordata, class Actinopterygii. The order Stomiiformes. Stomiiformes.
Yeah, there you go. E. 2 eyes.
Yeah. 2 eyes white dragon. Family, Stomiidae. Mm-hmm. The genus is Malacosteus. And the binomial name, Malacosteus niger. It's probably not Niger, but that's as close as I'm getting.
That's an artful way of saying it.
It's probably pronounced like the country.
Like Niger?
Yes.
Yep. Niger?
According to I did the speech to text, and that's what it said.
I mean, if you type in those letters into speech to text, that's exactly what it's going to say because that's how you spell the country.
Yes, that's true.
And the river as well. All right, so since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, nitty-gritty nomenclature. It's a fish. Fish are in schools. They should be, otherwise they're truant. This is the part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that is, what is the English translation for the binomial nomenclature? In this case is Malacosteus niger. What does that mean in English? Does that mean A, black soft bones, B, loose-faced darkness, C, brittle tooth bad maw, or D, luminous jawed fish?
Say the first two again.
Black soft bones, loose-faced darkness.
Black soft bones. And I don't care.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is correct.
I think I'm on a roll.
I think you are too. I don't know how you got that. I thought for sure that brittle tooth bad maw would get you because of the mal part, like the malacosteus, like meaning mal meaning bad. Mm-hmm. So, but the malic means soft, or soft or loose. You could use to describe that. But then you have osteus there. It's hidden. Mm-hmm. And then you have bones.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You got
osteo.
I thought I read it when I first read it. I've read costeus, so I didn't even see the osteo part in there. But good on you.
I didn't think that. I just I knew it was going to be black.
You absorbed it.
Yeah, and something about I would have thought black bad bones, because mal.
That's what I need to do. I need to just barely change them up. It should have been black soft bones, black bad bones, bones with bad backs.
Black bad bones is my favorite pirate.
I just like bad bones. Blackbeard and bad bones.
That's just silly. Yeah, okay. What's next? What do you want to hear described to you?
Yeah, why don't you describe this insane-looking thing to us?
So, if you live in a place with lizards, if one dies behind the couch and you see its skeletal head, it looks like that. It looks like that. It looks like it doesn't have all its flesh.
Lizard skeletons.
It has a eerie appearance, fitting for a creature of the deep sea. It has a dark black body, which helps it blend into the dark black of the ocean depths. It has a large gaping jaw filled with sharp needle-like sarlacc-like teeth. The lower jaw is longer and can unhinge to capture prey. It unhinges to the point where it looks like its head's coming off. It looks like it's bad. It's bad bones. It looks like bad bones. Grumpy old bones full of green dust or whatever.
Damn bones.
And its eyes are relatively large for a deep sea fish, but on the other hand, I guess if you're in the deep sea, you have two options: really big or almost not even there,
or no eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe light spots.
They're either really big or useless.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got the eyes of a basilisk in Dark Souls.
Little pinpricks.
Although the ones in Dark Souls are not real eyes.
Yeah.
Real eyes. You know.
Tell me eyes. Tell me sweet real eyes.
But that brings us to his relative size. So, welcome to the Bluff Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show, the part of the show when we present the animal size in dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. What? Size, present the animal size in dimensions. Yeah, I said it. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you, and you send an audio of yourself saying, singing, or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week, but that means we get to hear from an animal. Carlos gets to guess what it is.
Let's do it.
Okay.
If you found an animated Stoplight Loosejaw,
No.
I'll eat my hat.
What if I did? You'd have to eat your hat.
I know. I'm pretty confident, though.
What's the worst thing about eating your hat? Eating hat or losing a hat?
Or losing hat, probably.
Losing hat. My favorite Snow Patrol song or whatever. I don't know who did Chasing Cars.
It is Snow Patrol.
Is it? Okay, great.
Yeah. Chasing cars and losing hat. I'm here to chase cars and lose hat, and I'm all out of hat.
Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show. Do you know what made that sound?
That is the anglerfish that attacks Dory and Marlin at the bottom of
That's
the sea
right.
in Finding Nemo.
If you're a skeleton with teeth and bioluminescence, you might as well be an anglerfish.
It's all the same, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Wow,
That's exactly
I'm actually
right.
a little proud of myself that I got that, but a little disappointed in myself as well.
Would you have gotten it if I didn't leave in a little bit of Marlin yelling?
It wasn't Marlin yelling. It was, what's her name? Ellen DeGeneres yelling. But I've seen that movie so many times.
Me too.
But now I've seen Horton Hears a Who, or heard Horton Hears a Who, more times than probably any movie in my life. So
I've never heard Horton Hear a Who.
you've never heard him hear even one Who?
Not even a single Who.
You've never heard Horton hear even one Hortonly Who?
No.
No, it's actually stuck on our DVD player in the car now. So it's the only movie that we watch over and over again, and it's only like 65 minutes long. I think it might be like 70 minutes long. It's a little over an hour, like an hour and 20 minutes, and it just cycles 3 times a day. Bibby has probably heard it more than me because she drives the car with the kids more. But I now have that movie pretty much memorized. Anyway, that has nothing to do with this. So,
Well, let's talk about their length. They're 25.6 centimeters or 10.1 inches. Are they 19? Is it that 19 are the same height as a standard stoplight? As in the height of a stop, not like just the housing, not just the housing of the light itself, but like, how high they are. Like on the pole. Or B, 1 men's US size 8 shoe. Or C, 30 go into the height of a freestanding Pizza Hut.
how many? 30?
30.
That one. Pizza Hut.
What?
Pizza Hut. Pizza the Hut. My favorite Star Wars. My favorite
Final answer?
Spaceballs villain. Yes.
The correct answer is technically B and C. I just put a number for the Pizza Hut one, and that's correct, though. A Pizza Hut is about 25 feet tall. And that's how many go into this.
Good. I knew.
But men's size 8 is also 10 inches, about. Depending on the
it would
shoe.
be a size 10. Yeah, it does depend on the shoe.
So I'm glad we went with the Pizza Hut.
Yeah, now I want Pizza Hut so bad.
And I'm talking about the iconic freestanding Pizza Hut.
Yeah, with the
funny
with the roof. Yeah.
Where when the Pizza Hut goes out of business, anything that happened is still haunted by The Pizza Hut.
You need to replace the roof in order to not be Pizza Hut anymore.
Let's talk about there's a like Brazilian restaurant in around us that's in an old Pizza Hut. It's really funny. It's green instead of red.
It's just inhabiting the corpse of an old of another.
It's like
restaurant.
a Pizza Hut with a reskinned Pizza Hut.
It's just it found the old turtle shell and poked its hands through the holes and is now parading around like it's a turtle.
There's something about like another business with on a Pizza Hut building that's like a tuxedo T-shirt. It's like it's not really like, I know the truth. It's just a T-shirt. I know the truth. It's just a Pizza Hut.
But it's like a tuxedo T-shirt but it's Pizza Hut. That's also the original thing you're working with here. So it's like if it was a tuxedo T-shirt, but it was emulating something less fancy than a tuxedo.
Yeah, that's true.
That'd be
it's the opposite, because the true essence is Pizza Hut. Yeah,
I would use a good example, but I literally
cannot
think of the name of a fancy restaurant outside of the fake fancy restaurant Loosejaw Volant in Frasier. So
Olive Garden.
That is a very fancy restaurant. Never mind, you got me.
All right, let's talk about their weight. They're 0.9 to 1.3 kilograms, or 2 to 3 pounds. That it makes it the same as a standard claw hammer, B, 301 grapes, or C, 1,287 go into a Tesla Model 3.
1,200?
Mm-hmm. And 87.
That might be right. 300 grapes is 3 pounds. That seems like 300 grapes would be more than 3 pounds. So I'm torn between the Tesla and the claw hammer. I've been seeing a lot of Cybertrucks recently, so Tesla's been on my mind. And I just looked it up, and found out they're $100,000 for something you can barely see out of.
Everything I hear about the Tesla truck is that everyone who reviews it, even like people that really use trucks, they'll get into it and be like, "This is so much fun. I would never use this to work, but it's fun. I'd get one if I had the money, but it would never be my work truck." So like everyone's like, "I really like this, but I don't want it for its intended use."
It's a truck that runs on electricity.
Yeah.
It's handicapped.
Yeah, it's a joy. It's like a toy. It's a joy to use.
I think it looks bad.
It's very divisive in the way it looks.
Yeah. I mean, I want to like it because it has that like 80s like chill synth vibe, like a very Blade Runner thing. But it looks like bad origami. It looks like a crumpled up piece of paper.
There is a new, like, I follow this one guy on something Instagram that he reviews like concept cars, and there's a few that he reviewed that are like old style, like 70s and 80s frames, but like modernized and with electronics in it. So cool.
They need to
it's
do
like
that
a cyberpunk
way more often.
It's so cool. I love it.
Please start taking like old frames and putting modern hardware in there. Anyway, fine, whatever. Tesla, let's go with it. It's
final answer.
Yeah, 1,200 of them going to a Tesla.
Correct answer is Tesla.
Yes.
That's 2 for... Yeah, both.
2 for 2.
You're right. 300 grapes is heavier than 3 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, imagine like the getting a bag of grapes from the store that's already like maybe a pound or 2, and there's not 300 grapes in there. So
it's actually like 200 and something. It's close, but it's not quite 300. Would you like to hear some fast facts before we get into the major fact?
Surely.
The Stoplight Loosejaw has what it's called circumglobal distribution, which means it's Johnny Cash. It goes everywhere. It lives in the water. It's found in oceans worldwide, from the tropics to the subarctic regions. It also inhabits specifically the deep sea within the mesopelagic to the bathypelagic zones. That means it lives at depths ranging from 1,700 to 13,000 feet, or 500 to 4,000 meters below the sea surface.
The scary zone.
The scary door. The jaw, it's loose. It's about one quarter of the length of its entire body. It's extreme. So that makes it very large, proportionally. Its curved fangs help it to capture prey, and it unhinges to be able to swallow stuff that's larger than it normally could. But if you look at it, it's like not attached great. So it can unhinge, open up super wide, but it opens, it's not, I'm looking at a picture right now. It's not like unhinged, and its mouth is already wider than its body is wide. So who cares if you can fit something in your mouth if it doesn't fit in your body?
Oh, it's stretchy. It's a stretchy boy.
I'm sure it is stretchy. What a disgusting disgrace. Sin. This is sin.
It's like a gulper eel where its like chin doesn't connect with its chest.
Mm-hmm. It eats. Adapted to eat larger prey, and but who cares? Who cares about your unhinged jaw? It eats zooplankton. It eats little things, but it can also eat. The zooplankton that it eats is calanoid copepods.
For good reason.
Yeah. So, why? Why do you look like that? Cut it out. But yeah, that's all.
It can eat a bigger fish, I suppose, if it wanted to.
Fish are like pretty general. Fish aren't just like, I'm not gonna eat that. That's disgusting. Everything's disgusting under there. So,
yeah, it wants to open up all its doors. It wants to get its master's degree so that if an opportunity comes along, it has the capacity to take it on,
Yeah, fair enough. Its
master's
master's degree, unhinging in jaw.
Its master's degree is being unhinged.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this major fact we're going to call "Gotta Cut Jaw Loose" / Seeing Red. Which reminds me of the Chevelle song "Red" that I listened to a lot in college.
Reminds me of a mediocre Pixar movie.
That's not Seeing Red. It's Turning Red. Turning Red. Yeah. That's less than mediocre.
It's the worst werewolf movie of all time.
Mediocre is being generous. All right. So the Stoplight Loosejaw is obviously called a Loosejaw for a reason. We've made that clear. But it's also called a stoplight for a reason. It emits a unique red light, which is invisible to most other things in the ocean, well, especially the deep ocean, except for him, except for the loosejaw. So red light is really rare in the deep sea, which makes this a pretty effective tool for hunting. The thing is that water absorbs red light pretty easily, and you'll find that just going down like 60 feet under the water, things that should have been red will not be red. So if you cut yourself underwater, or at those depths, your blood will be green because all the red light has filtered out. The water has absorbed it. And by the time you get to the deep sea, there is no red wavelength of light left. This means that, well, at least from the sunlight. So red appears invisible to anything that's down there. And this means that many of the deep sea animals they even are colored red in order to be more invisible to things that might be able to see them, like with really big and sensitive eyes. They still won't be able to see them because they're red, and red doesn't reflect because the wavelength isn't reflecting off. But the Stoplight Loosejaw has a different method. It uses photophores, light-producing cells, to be bioluminescent, and it creates this signature red glow. So rather than having the sunlight bounce off of something that is red and then reflect off, into your eye, showing you a red thing, which doesn't happen in the bottom of the ocean, not only because red light does not make it all the way down there, but it also just wouldn't be reflected in your eye. Instead, it produces a red light, which is just, there aren't really any animals in the animal kingdom that produce red bioluminescence. There's only a few. I think there's the caterpillar.
Looks like
and
a
then
bus.
there are some other loosejaws that do this. So it's red light is usually pretty weak. It can illuminate prey at close range, but it doesn't shine out. And it also doesn't really give away its position because predators that would look for red light can't see it, and prey that would be alerted by the light also can't see it. So it's just perfect. It's like having night vision. And it also has these very sensitive eyes to be able to detect its own red light, because it's not going to be very useful if it's among the other creatures that can't see it.
It would be like a flashlight in UV.
Yeah, infrared flashlight. It's
Infrared.
Like, okay, this does not help me. So the way that this happens is it has a special chemical that's similar to chlorophyll, actually. It absorbs sunlight, and this helps it see red light. So it can detect light around 700 nanometers, which is greater than the red wavelength, and that's usually too dark for most fish to see. But it has specialized eyes to be able to see this, and its diet, these copepods that you mentioned, are at least strongly theorized to be the reason for this. That eating and digesting these copepods creates this protein that acts like chlorophyll. So they have their organ, their light producing organ with the photophores in it. It's a pigmented sac, and those photophores are inside and they shine, and the sac being red means it shines through the red membrane and makes red light. But the cells make a blue-green light through a common chemical reaction. Then the protein from these copepods absorbs the blue-green light and leaves only red. And so the red light shines out through the opening, and the filter through the membrane changes it to even a darker red. So it's like almost infrared. So even to like our cameras, we have a hard time seeing it. And so this is how it can go and shine a light on something, even a red crustacean under the ocean, that even under normal circumstances it wouldn't be able to see, but it can see it. And the crustacean can't see the loosejaw, which is important because then it can't use its defenses or swim away. But they also have a green light-producing organ. And this is thought to be in sexual selection. They can't really figure out why it has a green one. But I think in males it's bigger than females, so that's what they think it's part of the mating process. It's just a really hard animal to study, given that it's 13,000 feet below sea level sometimes. But it has a green light, and it has a red light, and it has a loose jaw. So somebody just was hitting the creative train on all cylinders when they named this thing the Stoplight Loosejaw. And some like writer or something called it the black dragonfish, and that man was keel hauled as they were leaving for his insolence, and they called it the Stoplight Loosejaw forevermore. That's not true, but but yeah, that's the loosejaw.
Gross. Although red light, did you know that like a lot of insects can't see red either. So if you want to go out at night and observe insect activity, you bring a red flashlight, and it'll be like you're invisible, or like anything that might react to light, it won't react to your red flashlight. So the bugs will act normal.
Yeah, I remember, I don't know if you've ever been to the Science Museum in downtown Fort Lauderdale. They have a big bat exhibit, which I always thought was super cool when I was a kid, but it's all red light. And that's because to them it's dark. They can't see it.
There's my family has they still own it technically. A house that's on the beach on the west coast of Florida. And a lot of those houses have like this really deep orange amber light. And I want on the like back porch, and I wonder if that's like sea turtles, like they don't follow that light or something that if that's the cause of that.
Maybe it also stops like mosquitoes and moths and stuff from being attracted.
True. Yeah.
But like if you're sitting bathed in just like blood red light, are you enjoying yourself at all? That's the question.
Yeah. If you're not getting swarmed by bugs, yeah. You get to know the bugs' secrets too.
Yeah, because you can observe them without them observing you. That's right. I don't know if you've ever seen that, the Ryan George skit where he talks about how being invisible is the worst superpower. Like 3 people get superpowers. One person is like telekinesis. One person can fly, and one person can turn invisible. And he's like, there's no use of my power that's not creepy in some way. And they're like, yeah, I think actually if you use your powers, we're legally obligated to stop you. I can see people without them seeing me. I can get into places I'm not supposed to. I can take things I'm not supposed to, and I'm naked the whole time.
There's a sci-fi show where there's a car, an invisible car, and like they discover it by like smashing into it, I think, or someone does. Like, it would be so terrible to have an invisible car.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen Megamind? That's the whole thing. He's got an invisible car that he keeps running into.
Oh, I have. I didn't remember that. But that's all I got.
All right. So that was the Stoplight Loosejaw. For you out there in Podcastia, let your jaw hit the floor. Remember that red light stop, but also green light stop. Like the Stoplight Loosejaw here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
I'm missing one, but whatever. We'll go with it.
The yellow light?
No, there's no yellow light.
What are you missing?
It's not a traffic light. It's a stoplight.